CSF rhinorrhea, second part. Here we'll deal with what are the main complaints from the patient side and the examination. When we examine, what are the findings. So, in first part already we have seen, I have given a small introduction, the relation between the sinuses and the nasal cavity of the brain and how the CSF rhinorrhea it results, and the common sites and the etiology and the difference between a traumatic and a non-traumatic leak. So, here second part, let us start with the complaint of the patients. Now, the traumatic cause is the most commonest. So, the patient will give a history of trauma, which is the recent onset, and along with that he says there is watery discharge from one side of the nasal cavity, and it comes on and off. He says he has got two other complaints. The one is headache, which is relieved with lying down and gets worsened when he sits up or does any activity. And he says there is an altered smell also, less sensation from smell. So, if we ask him the same fluid, it is there in the throat, is it salty in taste? He says yes. That is one common presentation. Other common presentation is, we ENT doctors or surgeons, we used to get a call from the neurology or neurosurgery ward saying that a patient has been admitted with an old history of trauma and he has got recurrent attacks of convulsions and fever, and now he has been admitted with meningitis. You please kindly roll out, or it has been diagnosed as a CSF leak. That is another presentation. He gets recurrent attacks of covering of the brain, that is meninges, infection of that, and he gets admitted there. That is another way of presenting. Now, the CSF rhinorrhea and the allergic rhinitis. So, the common presentation of the patient is watery discharge from the nose. The other condition where you have watery discharge from the nose is allergic rhinitis. So, how to differentiate these two? In a case of allergic rhinitis, already the patient, he gives a history that whenever there is exposure to dust, I used to sneeze a lot and the nose get blocked and watery discharge from both the nasal cavity, not on one side, and itching of the eyes and ears too. And when he cleans the nose, I am talking mainly of the allergic rhinitis. So, when the patient with the allergic rhinitis, he cleans the nose with a handkerchief, the handkerchief after some using for some time becomes stiff because the nasal mucosa nasal mucosa, it contains mucin, which can make the handkerchief stiff. And when he tries to sniff in, he is able to draw the fluid inside. And if he takes any antihistamine, the flow of the fluid stops in a case of allergic rhinitis. But in a case of CSF rhinorrhea, even if he has a history of allergic rhinitis, this nasal flow of fluid is usually on one side, and he will not be able to sniff his inside. When he tries to clean his nose with a handkerchief, the handkerchief doesn't become stiff because CSF is just like water. And when he takes any antihistamine, the flow doesn't stop. It has no effect on that. That's how we differentiate between CSF rhinorrhea and allergic rhinitis. So, on examination, we have to examine the face first because the common cause of CSF rhinorrhea is trauma. So, if it is traumatic, of course, there will be some scar on the face, some scar or stitches on the face, like that can be seen. So, we will start with the examination of nasal endoscope. Most of the time, the endoscopy will be normal. We will not be able to appreciate any fluid leak or watery discharge, and it will be normal. But even then, we need to do it. Now, when we ask the patient to lie down for some time and make him to sit up suddenly and bend forwards, you can see there is a increase in flow of one-sided nasal discharge. So, this means that the leak is coming from the posterior part of the nose. Suppose instead of making him lie down, he just sits routinely, he tries to bend and he strains, then if it flows, it means it's coming from the anterior part of the nose. This fluid which flows out, when we collect it or make it drop on a filter paper, suppose it is blood mixed because there is a history of trauma, what happens is when you see the filter paper, the center part will be blood and round to it you have a whitish discoloration. So, that means the surrounding white part is because of cerebrospinal fluid, which this sign is called as a halo, target or double ring sign. Now, Especially when the patient complains of severe headache, it's better that we call the ophthalmologist also, and they will come and have a look, and they would like to do a fundoscopy just to see whether there is a high pressure in the central nervous system or not. So they would like to do a fundoscopy. So there are few complications if we just leave this condition, or the patient himself, he neglects this condition and doesn't come to us. There is a high possibility that because of the disruption in the nasal mucosa and the bone and the meninges, the infection there may be an infection, it can spread from the nose, go directly into the brain. It can start infection starting from the meninges, there is a covering in the brain. It can go into the brain also, or in front of the brain also. It can result in brain abscess. These are the complications. Likewise, since there is a direct communication from the nose to the brain, in case of repeated cough or forceful blowing or sneezing, air can track into the central nervous system, resulting in pneumocephalus, and if the quantity of air is more, it can disrupt the normal mechanism, and the patient can have altered sensorium, and he can develop coma also. So these are the common complications if you neglect the condition. So that is about the presentation and the examination finding. Now please do watch the third part, where I'll tell you about the investigations related to this condition. Thank you so much.